Hey Brick Bloggeteers, Will here, and today we're looking at a LEGO Icon set 11380 road bike. Now this retails for $129.99, and when this came out I had questions because I've been buying a lot of the LEGO Icons vehicles, and this technically is a vehicle and it is the right price, but a bicycle is like most of the way to a Technic set. So was I going to get a LEGO Icons experience out of this? So I asked for a review copy and I got one. First thing is, I am surprised how big this thing is. This large scale actually helps in a couple of ways. It does give room for a lot of LEGO system elements. So in the seat and all the piping for the frame of the bike. They use as much system as they possibly can. Now there is still a lot of Technic in here, but when I thought about it, that's fair because a lot of LEGO Icon set do use Technic in terms of making real working steering, real working pistons. The framework of the various models often use Technic. So having a good amount of Technic in a LEGO Icons isn't an end all. With the scale though, we do have a lot of new Technic. So the tires are the largest that they've ever made before. They're actually very thin. Let's actually get a side kind of view here. So you can actually see just how thin they are. They're practically maybe the width of a 2 studs or even less, fairly close to there. But these are the largest diameter tires that LEGO has ever made, and in order to accommodate them they actually have to create a brand new hub for it, and they didn't want to just give one giant piece. So therefore this is actually made up of 12 segments, which then have to be connected with Technic elements to connect that whole hub together. And then to bring it into the center, they created another piece, the spoke elements. Now these are very thin elements, they're very flexible, and they're more the size of a thin lift arm on either end. They're just a circular piece, so that you're often going to be just using half pins to connect them into anything. Now there is a direction to them, and I later found this out after I kind of made some mistakes early on because I wasn't really aware of it. One side's going to be higher, one side's going to be lower, or you could just flip it around and then the side that was higher is now lower and the other side higher. Why that's important is because you always want the higher end to be connected into the reel that's in the center here, and the lower end connected to the rim of the wheel. If you do it the other way, you're going to have a very off-centered, wonky wheel that's actually going to be fighting you during the construction. Now the interesting thing about this whole back section is this bike does not have a kickstand, so it has to use this frame to hold the back wheel. Now if you want to take it off the frame, there are little tabs on either side that you just turn down. Basically what this is a bar and clip connection with a slope and a tile, and it either closes up that connection or opens it up, and then that frees this center axle so you can lift the bike up and out of the frame. Alright, with the bike out of the frame, we do have the ability to turn the pedals and then get the back wheel moving. Now there is a brand new element in here to allow you to, when you stop pedaling, it'll continue coasting. In fact, as you move forward and choose to go backwards, it'll still move forward. Now the way it works is a specialized gear that they've built in. It's going to be the smallest one on this back section here. There's actually 3 gears here. The top one is the one-way direction gear. And the way that works is inside the gear is a little ratchet. And if you turn it one way, it'll engage the gear and move the bike forward, or the wheel forward. If you turn it the other way, it pushes that ratchet out of the way so it doesn't engage, allowing for free movement and continuing the momentum of whichever direction it is actually engaged in. Now, the reason for these extra 2 gears to basically snake the chain back and forth is to allow for one even distribution of the chain, but at the same time ensure that the top gear is going to engage onto the chain, because there is a difference in the sizes from where the pedals are versus the back. And when you have that, there's more oftentimes for the small gears to slip. And so to prevent that, they have the snaking element to make sure that that top gear always stays engaged. I will have to say that operating this bike and just playing around with the coasting of it is almost therapeutic. Now, for the system elements that they use, this is heavily in the piping of the whole bike. And they actually use bars to pin hollow plates that are like 1x3, 1x4 to make all the angles line up just right. Again, they avoided Technic as much as they could. Now, when they did use Technic, like you can see in the handlebars up here, like all this whole front section, that's all Technic. They tried to use Technic in a very aesthetically pleasing way so that it actually looks correct in terms of what the design should actually look like from a more Lego system aesthetic rather than a functional aesthetic that Technic is known for. So, is it worth the $130 essentially? Surprisingly, yes. This is a very, very new, novel build. Yes, there's a lot of Technic in here, but it feels like it's done in a very fresh way, and it's also neat to see all the new Technic pieces, from the tires, the rims, the spokes, the one-way gear. The one-way gear alone just still blows my mind. And to have a very pretty large model, I think it's well worth it. So check out set 11380 Road Bike.